So guys, today I want to take a look at this Kobalt 24 volt tool. I actually got it free with a deal that they had here. I did a video on if you buy this 2 batteries, charger, and a case for $99, pick a tool. I bought 3 of those deals, and with one of the deals I got this 1/4 inch square drive compact impact wrench. It is the item number 5645468, model number KCIW 124B-03. Now, to be clear, this is the tool only. You must supply a battery. Now, the specs say that the fastening torque is 85 foot-pounds, nut busting torque is 110 foot-pounds, no load speed 0 to 1650 RPM, and the impact rate is 0 to 2900 impacts per minute. And the bare tool weighs 2.17 pounds. Now I'm going to be doing a test on my Honda CR-V, trying to take off one of the lug nuts. I always torque them to 80 foot-pounds, and so we're going to see how this does removing the lug nut. Now, supplied with this, you'll get one of these things that hook on to either side that allows you to hook this on a belt. I never use these. I find them useless, but if you use them, it'll come with one and the screw to attach it. And as you would expect, you do get a owner's manual, and you get a product guide that has all the goodies, all the different products, all the 24 volt tools that they sell in different things in the Kobalt line. And it feels good. It's got a nice comfortable grip with or without the battery. It's when you put the battery on, it is nice and balanced. And I was surprised at the weight up here, that it does have a nice hefty weight to it. Next, guys, let's see what these settings are for. You've got a torque and then a mode setting. So I've attached a battery, and this does have a variable speed trigger. So right now it's in the lock position when it's centered. So let's take and push it, as we see here, push it like that. Now it's going to go forward in its variable speed. Come back to the lock position. And from this side, if we push it in, we're now in reverse variable speed. And then back to lock, and it does have a light that you see. It just went off, and then on your torque settings if it sets for about a minute, those lights will now go off. So next I want to take a look at this torque. Now they've all got that. Every tool that I've ever had has this torque. And so now I'll put it in the forward position, and if I just push the switch in part way, it'll activate it. Now, so as you push this, you go through 1, 2, and 3, and we'll go back to 1. So in 1, the RPMs are 0 to 700. The impacts per minute are 0 to 1100. And the foot-pounds is up to 35. When we go to 2, we have 0 to 1150 RPMs, 0 to 2000 impacts per minute, and a ultimate torque of 60 foot-pounds. We go to 3, we have 0 to 1650 revolutions per minute, and 0 to 2900 impacts per minute, and the foot-pounds is 85 ultimate foot-pounds. The next thing that I want to look at is this mode button. So let me push in partway in the switch, and doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and put this to a torque of 1. So right now, let me switch it to the lock position. Okay, so the switch is in the lock position, and I'm going to push down on the mode button. As you can see, nothing happens. When the switch is in lock, nothing happens. Let me go ahead and put it to the forward, which is basically putting a bolt on, putting another bolt on into the forward position. Now I'm going to hit the mode switch. Let me hit that one more time. Well, you'll notice only the LED right there lights. This one doesn't. And there's a reason for that, because it knows it's in the forward, and it's called hand tight. So this is very cool. Now remember that. So now let's go ahead and shut it off, or turn the switch off. Okay. And now I'm going to go to reverse. We're going to take it off. Now you notice that that light went off. Let me go back to forward. Okay. It knows its last setting. So it knows the last setting was in the forward rotation and the hand tight. When we go to reverse, that's off, because in reverse that is not an option. What is an option is the auto slow feature. So this is very cool. Alright guys, so let's take a look at that. Now right now the switch is locked. Let me go to let me go to forward, and let me just touch the switch. You'll notice that it knew from before I had 1 as the torque, and in forward I had it on hand tight. So now, without doing anything else, we're going to go into reverse. So it also remembered that in reverse I had auto slow. So let's go to the hand tight, which is forward. So hand tight, that feature, the tool will stop rotating soon after impact mechanism is engaged. This mode allows the user to work fast with precision while not damaging the workpiece. It helps to prevent over-tightening of the bolt, nut, and damage to the workpiece surface. And it says, note, the timing to stop the driving varies depending on the type of bolt or nut and material to be driven. Perform a test driven before using this mode. So now we're in reverse, and it knew that it was in auto slow, torque of 1. So auto slow, the tool will slow down the speed as soon as the bolt nut is loose. This mode helps to prevent the bolt or nut from falling or being thrown out of the socket. Now, how many times has that not happened? So, again, we're going to give this thing a test run, and We're going to see if this will take the lug nuts off of my Honda CR-V, and I torqued them to 80 foot-pounds. To do this test, I'm going to use a 3/8 inch square drive 19 millimeter impact socket. It's a snap-on. And then I'm going to need, and I don't have an impact adapter. This is a Craftsman 1/4 inch square drive to 3/8 inch square drive in chrome. And we shall see how that's going to work. Next, guys, let's take a look at the 3/8 inch here very briefly. Since everything's basically the same as the 1/4 inch, we won't go over everything, and then we'll get right into the test of the 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch impacts. So as to the specs on this 3/8 inch square drive, on the torque speed range of 1, we have an RPM of 0 to 800, impacts per minute 0 to 900, and 75 foot-pounds of torque. At a setting of torque range 2, we get 0 to 1200 revolutions per minute, we get 0 to 1600 impacts per minute, and we get an ultimate foot-pounds of 150. At the number 3 torque speed range, we get a revolutions per minute of 0 to 2500, impacts per minute 0 to 3400, and the 250 foot-pounds of ultimate torque. And as with the 1/4 inch square drive, you will get a belt hook and a manual. Alright, so as we do this video, the battery level is on a 2. So there's only 2 bars out of the 4 that are illuminated. And when we do this, whether it's in the forward or reverse, we're going to have it on, or we're going to put it on torque level 3. So we want it on torque level 3 to test this. And then when we're in forward, it's going to be in hand tight. And when we're in reverse, it's going to be on auto slow. Forward, reverse. And we're going to take this nut off. Now, I keep track of when I rotate tires. I do them between 5 to 10,000, and 90% of the time, unless it's in the winter, I may let them go an extra 5, but to 10,000. But this was last rotated. These tires were last rotated 3,105 miles ago, because I checked my records. So that nut has not been loosened for 3,105 miles. And I just checked. I'm actually pushing damn near 173,000 miles. And I change oil every 5,000 miles. Alright guys, so let's make sure it's in reverse. It's on 3 torque, the highest torque setting, and we've got it on auto slow. So let's see how this handles this. Took a little bit, but it did take it off. Now, this is just a test to try it. I'm not going to use this to take off my lug nuts. This was just something, like I said, that I wanted to give it a try and just see what it would do. So that's the purpose of this, in case you're questioning, because this will not be the main tool for that at all. Alright, so let me hand start this. And normally when I do this, I will go in a star pattern, put them all on, make sure that everything's snug, your hand's snug, and then torque them. But what I'm going to do here is leave it like that, just a couple threads, and I know these are good, so I don't have to worry about it. Then what I'm going to do is put it in forward. Let me make sure it's in forward, maximum power, and then let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. That is cool. Now, I do like that feature. I do like that feature. All right, let me take it off, and I want to see if we can tell. I could tell. I want to see if you can tell that when it loosened, it did slow up. And I'm going to push all the way down and hold it, and we'll see what happens here. Kind of hard to tell. That wasn't so easy to tell if it slowed down. All right, guys, I got to do this one last time. Different position here. And it just stops. I just released it. I like that. That is actually a very cool feature. And as you can see, being of such low torque, it didn't even... I wasn't sure if I was going to mushroom the square drive end or this end, but it never affected this chrome socket. So let's follow that up with the 3/8" square drive, and instead of using this, which I've already retorqued to 80 foot-pounds, we're going to use this so that it hasn't been used in the loosened in the same amount of miles as this one was. And so we're going to go there, and we're going to do the same thing as far as having it on the third torque setting. It'll be hand tight to put it on, and in reverse it'll be the auto slow. So as before, when I do this, I'm going to have my hand on it, I'm going to leave it on and see if it's any easier to notice the auto slow here as we take it off. And I guess it did slow up there like that. It was more noticeable here. And of course, this took it off much easier than the 1/4" square drive because of more torque that this 3/8" drive tool allows. And again, as I said earlier, the 1/4" is not going to be used to take off lug nuts. Just was pretty much just a test. So now, let me put this on a couple threads, just like that. Let me make sure that this is in the forward position. And we're going to go ahead and put this on and just see how this works then. So this will be tightening it up, and it will be on the hand tight feature. And it stopped. I like that. Yep, I like that because the initial contact it made, it stopped. Just like that. I do like that. This I will use a lot then for this kind of thing. This is really sweet. I like that. Alright guys, got to do another angle, and this is going to be putting it on. Gotta like that. This is way cool.